So let's talk Hogwarts Legacy. So the early reviews are coming out, and it's quite interesting because basically there is a school of thought around the game. All right. Basically, there were a lot of news outlets that were putting out articles, and these articles said something to this effect. Okay, Hogwarts Legacy, cannot be fairly reviewed because of its association with J.K. Rowling. All right. Now, do I really have to go into detail about the situation? I guess I do. All right, let's talk about this. J.K. Rowling is the author who wrote all the Harry Potter books. She created the Wizarding World. All right. She's the one who ultimately a lot of the royalties for anything Harry Potter or Hogwarts or anything in that world related go to. She makes bank on every single thing that has to do with the Harry Potter universe. Okay. Basically, I don't want to get into the politics of it. I don't. But basically, what's happened is in the last decade, she's found herself at odds with trans activists and or trans people in general. Why? Because apparently at one point she made a public comment, all right, defending women and women's rights. She was actually seen as a feminist leader at one point, okay? And I guess when she saw the trans movement going, she felt, I guess, that maybe in some cases it was actually taking away the power of women. I don't know, because again, you want to talk about something I don't have a vested interest in? It's this argument, right? Like, I just have nothing to do with it. So I wasn't following it or anything. But I guess what ended up happening was she made some statements about women and trans people, all right? I don't even know what the statements are, all right? But basically what ended up happening was she made these statements, and they were taken in a way to be seen as very offensive to the trans community, okay? I don't know if that's how it was intended. I don't know, but all I know is her statements have been basically seen as offensive to the trans community or possibly just harmful to the trans community. Maybe not intended to be offensive, but to the point where the trans community said, well, even if you don't intend for them to be, they are. I guess she's kind of said things to the effect that trans people are not true women. Something like that, okay? Again, I'm paraphrasing. I have no clue. I'm not involved in this argument. I'm not agreeing one way or the other or disagreeing one way or the other. I'm just trying to relay the situation of what is going on, okay? So, what's funny is some people hate this woman now, and they used to love her. Oh my God, Harry Potter and the Wizarding World, I loved it. And then when I found out her stance on transgender, oh my God, I can't stand her anymore, and I hate her, and I can't follow Harry Potter anymore, and I can't do this and I can't do that. Okay. On the flip side of this, some people are like, no, this is ridiculous. If you actually follow her comments, she never intended to say anything offensive, nor was she trying to. But here's what happened. It's basically one of those situations where, what do they call it? The Streisand effect? That's what they call it. For those who don't know what the Streisand effect is, many years ago, Barbara Streisand found some satellite images of one of her homes on the internet. She didn't want anyone knowing that was her home or knowing about it, so she tried to wipe the images off the internet. Because she did that, the images blew up, and literally everyone knew that that was her house. So essentially, the Streisand effect is when you're trying to stop something, you blow it up to the point where it becomes way bigger than it ever would have been, and it backfires. Okay? So what I feel happened in this situation was the Streisand effect. I don't think that J.K. Rowling, with her comments on women or the trans community or whatever, was trying to be offensive. But what ended up happening was it was taken that way. And once it was taken that way, it blew up to the point where now she was faced with this situation where she was either going to go all in or she was going to back completely out, right? It's one or the other. So what did she do? She went all in. Not only has she backed her comments, she's doubled down, she's tripled down, she's quadrupled down, she's 1,000th down on her comments about this, to the point where now there is an insanely polarizing argument going on all over the internet about J.K. Rowling. It's either like, you love this woman and her staunchness for her comments and sticking up for her beliefs, or you hate her guts because what she says is incredibly offensive to the trans community. So it's one or the other. And again, like I was saying earlier with politics and things, there's no middle ground here. It's either like you have to love her or hate her for some reason, okay? In my opinion, I don't care about any of it, because here's the thing. It is the Streisand effect. I didn't even know about J.K. Rowling or her comments at all. It wasn't until these people online who blow things up and make them into these big tizzy drama events that they did that anyone even knew about it. Who gave a shit about who the other Harry Potter, what she cares about trans people? Who gives a fuck? Who cares, right? You might as well ask Papa John, right, about his thoughts about Ukrainian refugees, right? Who gives a fuck what Papa John thinks about that, right? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't affect anything, but people give it power by talking about it. So it is this Streisand effect, okay? So what ended up happening was, the last several years, I say 5 to 10 years, when you look online about J.K. Rowling, it is this big polarized thing. And if you haven't noticed, it's weird because it seems like everyone needs to pick a side. So they'll ask certain actors from the Harry Potter movies, oh, I can't believe what Rowling has said and done. It's like, wow. Well, that's because it's Hollywood. And in Hollywood, you have to be on the extreme left, because if you're not, you don't get jobs. I know that really sucks to say that, but it's just true. Hollywood is very, very liberal. And if you're not very liberal along with them, good luck getting work, okay? So who knows if these people who come out and said things like that even believe what they say. You can't even really trust it because Hollywood is so leftist, okay? On the flip side of that, no, if you like Harry Potter and you like the Wizarding World, you shouldn't be now seen as some kind of ultra-conservative right-wing person either. I just don't understand this at all. Like, this is like, it's such a horrible fucking situation where somehow Harry Potter has become a polarizing political thing. It's not. Okay? Harry Potter is not political. The people who want to make it political are idiots with agendas who think you're dumb enough to fall down their political traps. Okay? You can like Harry Potter, okay, and not be political. It has nothing to fucking do with politics, all right, at all. Now, all that being said, all right, here's the deal with Hogwarts Legacy, okay? Hogwarts Legacy is a game about the Wizarding World. Not Harry Potter, but very much the Wizarding World that was created by J.K. Rowling, okay? Did J.K. Rowling write the plot? No. Did J.K. Rowling develop the game? No. Did J.K. Rowling have a hand in the game? No. J.K. Rowling had nothing to do with Hogwarts Legacy besides creating the original idea, okay? So, when people come out and say, oh, you must completely boycott Hogwarts Legacy if you're pro-trans, because she's so offensive to the trans community and harmful to the trans community that if you support Hogwarts Legacy, you're hurting trans people. That is one of the stupidest, most uneducated, idiotic, one-sided, very, very, very sheepish mentalities I've ever heard in my life. It's just completely stupid. There's no logic to that argument at all, okay? The one argument that can be made, all right, is that J.K. Rowling owns all of this shit, right? She created the Wizarding World. Therefore, yes, it is absolutely true that things that are involved with Harry Potter and the Wizarding World will benefit her. Yes, sales of this game, likely she'll get some money from it, whether there was a royalty agreement or whether she licensed it and got paid for the licensing, whatever it may be, she made money, all right? And if your argument is, well, if you support Hogwarts Legacy, you're supporting someone who's anti-trans, all right? I have a wake-up call for all of you, all right? And I need to have a wake-up call for the internet. I hope some people will listen. All right, you ready for this? Okay, hold on a second here. Do you honestly think that all the things that you buy in your life and spend money on are only going to fully humanitarian causes and or companies that really care about the human race? Because the truth of the matter here, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's commercials on the screen that I misclicked. Hold on. Here's the truth, all right? The vast majority of money that you spend in your lifetime will go towards a company or corporation that doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your rights, doesn't care about anyone around you, and doesn't care about the bigger good of humanity. All they care about is themselves, lining their pockets with your money, raking in your dollars, and becoming rich. And the sooner you realize that, and the sooner you wake up and become a realist, rather than one of these people who lives in a fantasy world of unicorns and rainbows, the better. This is not a nice, pretty world where everything is here to protect everyone and everyone cares about everyone else. It's just not, okay? When you spend money, that money goes towards corporations that are probably doing messed up things, all right? It's not just J.K. Rowling in the Wizarding World. It's everything in life. Every dollar you spend is going towards some company that's probably keeping people down. All right? So enough with this high and mighty attitude that everything I do has to be woke and free, for the good of every group. It's not realistic. It's absolutely preposterously fucking stupid. And if you think that way, you're a sheep and you're ignorant. Now, I just clicked on the wrong thing again. I'm not saying that in your life you cannot take stances that are very liberal and or pro-people, and there shouldn't be situations where you want to get behind a good cause and, and do things that are good. That's different. What I'm saying here is these people who are like, you must boycott everything Harry Potter. You are such an idiot. Look at the clothes you're wearing. Guess where they were fucking made? Not a company that supports trans rights, I bet. Not so, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they're in fucking China and shit. China. You want to talk about China? How much shit we have in our homes from China? Do you want to talk about that country and how they treat its populace? Really? Is this where we want to go? Come on now. Let's be real fucking realistic here, okay? Enough of this stupidity that we're all living this. Oh, yeah. Well, no, you see, my fabric is only hand-stitched by people who are fully supporting these causes, and I only drink fully vegan milk and other things, non-dairy, fully vegan milk. That you're so full of shit, and it's so hypocritical. It's so stupid, all right? I hate to tell you, no, Harry Potter is not the devil, all right? It's just so ludicrous, these things these people say. Listen, I am for people being happy in their lives. If you feel like you're in the wrong type of body when you were born and you think that you should be another gender, more power to you. Go for it. I don't care about that. Be happy in your own life. Go for it. But in no right does anyone have the right to point and say, you must live your life like this. Seriously. And if anything, this is very hypocritical because these people are like, well, J.K. Rowling's statements are so offensive to trans people. You know, she's telling us that we're not really people or we're not really the gender that we say that we are. Fair enough, you could find that offensive, and you have the right to find that offensive. That's your subjective ability in life, is that you can have an opinion. And that opinion, if it's offensive to you, what she's saying, then you can be offended. All right? But where do you get the right to now tell everyone else that they can't enjoy Harry Potter because something that the creator of Harry Potter said is offensive to you? Wait, what? So what's the difference here? She's telling everyone trans people aren't real, basically, but you're saying, oh, well, now you have to completely boycott something that you love because it's offensive. Wait, what? You're doing the same thing. You're doing it back. How do you not understand you can't fight fire with fire? It doesn't work that way. But these people don't. They have these crazy online, we must boycott everything. We must do that. Doesn't work. It never works. They do it a million times and it never ever works. It's just stupidity. It's outrage for outrage's sake. Look at me. Look at me. No, it will not work. If anything, it's monstrously backfired with Harry Potter, and in this case, with Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is one of the biggest pre-ordered games of the last few years. People are saying the numbers they're seeing are similar to Cyberpunk and Elden Ring. That the game might be that big of a game. It's that huge. Right? Again, the thing that gets me about this is when these people, these activists online say, you must boycott Hogwarts Legacy. We're making a running tally list of those playing Hogwarts Legacy and we're blacklisting these people. It's like, do you not understand? You have created a monster. If you had just shut up and said, okay, we disagree with J.K. Rowling's comments. That's it. Don't make a big deal of it. Just, they'll go away. You're the ones who blew it up. You're the ones who kept talking about it. You're the ones who kept saying, screw her, screw Harry Potter, boycott this book. And when you did that, you created the monster. And now the monster is bigger than you ever wanted it to be. This is, I say, it shouldn't even be called the Streisand effect anymore. It should be called the Rowling effect. Because this is bigger than the Streisand effect ever was. Who cares about Barbara Streisand's house? This J.K. Rowling thing that was literally a non-issue has blown up into some of a humongous, ginormous issue. For no good reason. No one should give a shit what the creator of Harry Potter thinks about this. It's such a pointless argument, you know? So, yikes. And what's funny about this is now certain news outlets, all right, were so leftist polarized that they were saying things up until this week like, oh, you know, Hogwarts Legacy cannot be fairly reviewed because no matter what, there's going to be a stigma of J.K. Rowling's comments behind it. No, there isn't. The game has nothing to do with J.K. Rowling and her comments on trans people at all. Zero. You create that association when you can't get over yourselves. Shut up about it and let that stupidity go away. And when I say stupidity, I mean, yeah, maybe some of the things Rowling said were very stupid because she kept doubling and tripling down because people kept bothering her about it. She's like, just leave me the fuck alone. No, you want to talk about it? Fine, I'll talk about it. How about this, motherfucker? And she basically clapped back so hard that now the situation is so much worse. Everyone just needs to learn that not everything in life is not something to blow up into some kind of an online tizzy situation, okay? Literally, the thoughts of this woman, I could not give two shits about. You know, tell us thoughts about the wizarding world. Then I care. Anything else, I don't give two fucks, right? Because you'll be shocked. Some of your favorite celebrities, some of your favorite people in your life probably have opinions you don't agree with. Why do you care? That's humanity. That's literally the way of humanity, is that people will have different opinions, and sometimes they'll be offensive to you. So get over it and move on. If it means you cannot deal with that person ever again, that's your personal choice to do so. But the moment that now you project yourself onto others, and you try to say, hey, now you can't enjoy something that you've enjoyed your whole life because I say so, because something that person said is offensive to me, you've already overstepped your bounds. You're doing exactly the same shit. It's insane hypocrisy to act like that. So all that being said, what happened is today the early reviews for Hogwarts Legacy came out. All right? And here's what happened. Only certain outlets came out with the reviews. And people were like, wait a minute, why doesn't Kotaku have a review? Why doesn't GameSpot have a review? Because they put out articles earlier saying that basically this game could not be fairly reviewed. So guess what? They didn't get review codes. They got left out in the cold because they were being stupid about it and not objective. So because of that, they have no reviews. Oops. That's what happens when you expose yourself as a fucking biased journalism source. You can't be biased and be able to have a journalistic integrity. You know what I'm saying? And they are 1,000,000% proving to the internet that they couldn't be non-biased, and therefore they got screwed. They got left out. Other companies did get review codes. And the companies that got review codes in general are loving Hogwarts Legacy. 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. You know, I've seen quotes this morning that said things like, basically, Hogwarts Legacy is the Harry Potter / Wizarding World game you always wanted. It's the game that you've always wanted to play and never could, because before now we had limitations of what game developers and consoles could do, and now we finally truly have the way to make the game you've always wanted if you're a fan of the Wizarding World. So, and it's funny too, because people are being honest, they're like, yeah, it's a little outdated. It's not exactly the most action-packed game, but at the same time, neither is Harry Potter. Like, look at the movies. Here's a wizarding duel. And then someone's body gets thrown. Wah! or they get turned into a mandrake or something, right? It's not the most exciting thing. These people are doing flying fucking kung fu moves and shooting guns and shit. They're just a little wand wiggling around or whatever, right? So as long as you're okay with that, you understand where it's coming from, and you understand the lore behind it, you're probably going to love this game. But sadly, there are people who will probably have no concept of the Wizarding World. They'll play it and be like, it's kind of boring. And, fair enough. Maybe this game will not be for everyone. But those who've played it and have reference to the Harry Potter universe are saying it's like exactly what you wanted, with a few shortcomings. They're being honest. They're saying, yeah, there's a few graphical bugs and issues that probably will be fixed. But for now, they are present in the launch of the game. A few other things, are in there that could be tweaked or improved. There's a few outdated game mechanics, but for the most part, the game is absolutely outstanding. And people are like, whoa. So not only did this game pre-order an insane amount, because number one, people like Harry Potter, and number two, because of this stupid polarizing political shit on the internet, which honestly blew up sales for the game, but now the reviews are good. It's like, whoa. This could actually be not only an early game of the year contender, we could have another runaway hit like Elden Ring on our hands that no one foresaw coming, okay? So this is quite interesting to me to see this situation, all right? But I'm not allowing myself to be influenced and or dictated to by an angry online mob of people who, even if I understand again, if you are trans, or if you're a major supporter of the trans community, and you feel very offended by J.K. Rowling's comments, I understand, and I can't empathize, but I can sympathize that this is a community that's been treated like dirt. This is a community that for a very long time was treated like almost like outcasts, like they had no place, that they were just wrong for feeling the way they felt. Can you imagine? Just think about this, and I don't want you to think about it in terms of gender. Let's say you just felt wrong. No matter what in your life, you always felt wrong, and you know what it was, but something was always wrong. And then you realize that if you made a very big life change, all of a sudden everything felt right. But now all of a sudden you have people treating you like a monster, or like garbage, or like scum, because you want to do something that's a life-changing event that's the best for you, right? You're being ostracized by humanity for wanting to do something that you feel was maybe a mistake. These people feel like in a lot of cases they were born in the wrong body, in the wrong gender. And listen, I've told you guys my thoughts about the trans community before, that basically every human is the same when they're a little egg. We're all the same, and it depends on what genes we get from the sperm that hits the egg that determines our gender, right? And I hate to tell you, we all start off one gender, and then we change to one gender or another. And in some cases, perhaps there's a problem there. Perhaps there's something scientific. I mean, this is not the first time that we've seen in history, trans, or in some cases homosexual attraction and things like that are not considered heterosexual the norm. Either a man, 100% man, 100% woman, man and woman must be together, right? These conservative Christian values and things, right? We've seen in history scientific evidence that this has happened over time. It's not, people are not making this up. This is stupid that people, just humans are just doing this now. No, it even happens in the animal kingdom, stupid. There's concrete evidence that this kind of stuff has happened in the animal kingdom. There's creatures that change gender. Are you aware of this? No, you're not, because you're stupid. People just think, I was raised one way. Well, then you're stupid. If you only were raised one way and you never looked outside that bubble you grew up in to see the actual reality of the universe around you, you're a fucking ignorant idiot. Go back to your bubble and leave the rest of the fucking world alone who wants to see things how it really is. All right? Seriously. So this is what I mean about me being middle of the road. Do you understand? I completely can see the perspective of the trans community, and I see how horribly they've been treated and how they're ostracized and how it's very messed up that people treat them the way that they do. All right? At the same time, I can't believe that we're arguing about J.K. Rowling's thoughts. I don't give two fucks what she thinks. I mean, she might think peanut butter is better than, chocolate. And I'd say, you're a fucking idiot. Are you insane? Now, some people will say, well, that's dumb because that's not offensive to people. It doesn't hurt people. Perhaps that's correct. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's a bad comparison. But you see, the point I'm making here is that if we didn't blow up her opinions, no one would care. I don't know why anyone cares. I don't. No one should. People should be like, who the fuck cares? Right? So, yes, I will play Hogwarts Legacy. Yes, I will enjoy the game or hate it. Depending on, what I honestly think about the game, I will judge it objectively. Not with the subjective opinion in the back of my head that the woman who created the Wizarding World is offensive to trans people and harmful to them. Because that's not what the game is about. It's not. I can have the intelligence to separate these things from each other. Some people don't. I hate to say it. They just don't. They can't do that. They're just so... You know what it is, too? It's a lot about emotion. Because when you get so emotional about something, essentially now you can no longer be objectively logical about it. When you get so emotionally invested in a topic, now it becomes your end all and be all. You become incensed, immersed in it, right? It's your embodiment now, is this one thing. And I get that. I understand that. But you have to see past it. You can't live life like that. All you're doing is you're hurting yourself to live in this bubble of hate and anger towards a person. You don't like someone, write them off. Okay, you know what? You're a toxic person to me. I write you off. You have nothing to do with me ever again in my life. I'm just not going to do it. And you know what? For some people, maybe they can't separate the Wizarding World of Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling's comments. And if that's the case, that's fine. That's your ability to make that judgment for yourself. Do that. And if you say, I will not play Hogwarts Legacy. I will not watch Harry Potter movies. I will not support the Fantastic Beasts film series. I will abstain from all of it because I feel that what's been said and done by J.K. Rowling is so offensive. That's fine, and that is your ability to make that judgment. But the moment that you project that onto others and say they can't enjoy something because of your personal feelings, that's when you have overstepped your bounds and you've become that which you most hate.